Let me tell you something. Most men never figure out until it's already too late. It's not the flowers, it's not the dinners, it's not the grand gestures you think she wants. What truly captivates a woman, what awakens her, is how you see her. It's the way your presence makes her feel more like herself than she thought she could. It's when your eyes meet hers and she feels for just a moment like her chaos finally makes sense. And when you give her a compliment that doesn't chase her validation, but instead mirrors her deeper essence back to her, that's not game, that's power. Because real power isn't loud, it's felt. It's the kind of energy that doesn't need to be announced. It's recognized. Today, I want to take you somewhere deeper than surface-level attraction. I want to show you why certain words linger in a woman's mind long after you've said them, why some compliments echo in her body instead of just brushing past her ears. Because when you understand this, you stop trying to impress, and you start creating something far more rare, emotional resonance. And that changes everything about how she experiences you. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, saying the right things, showing up, making effort, yet something still feels missing? Have you ever wondered why some men barely try, yet women seem to feel deeply drawn to them? Or maybe you've been on the other side, where a single sentence from someone stayed with you for days, even weeks, and you couldn't quite explain why. That's what we're really talking about here. Not attraction that is forced, but connection that is felt. Not performance, but presence. And if you're honest with yourself, isn't that what you actually want? To be understood without having to over-explain, to be valued without having to overprove? My name is Sophia Joy, and welcome to The Female Touch. This is a space where we don't just talk about attraction, we understand it. Where we don't chase attention, we build awareness. And where we explore the quiet, often unspoken truths about emotional connection, feminine psychology, and the subtle dynamics that most people overlook. So let me ask you something before we go further. When was the last time you truly saw someone? Not just how they looked, not just what they said, but who they were underneath all of that. And more importantly, when was the last time you felt seen like that? Because everything I'm about to share with you isn't just about women, it's about human nature. It's about the deep, almost invisible needs we all carry, and the rare people who know how to meet them without even trying too hard. When you tell a woman, you see things in a way most people don't, you're not just complimenting her perspective. You're acknowledging her inner world. And that matters more than you realize. Most women go through life being noticed, but not understood. People comment on their appearance, their energy, their role, but very few people pause long enough to recognize how they think, how they interpret, how they feel beneath the surface. So when you reflect that back to her, genuinely, something shifts. She feels recognized in a way that bypasses her defenses. But here's the nuance most people miss. This only works when it's real. Women are incredibly perceptive when it comes to intention. They can feel the difference between a man who is observing and a man who is performing observation. One comes from presence, the other from strategy. And presence always wins, because presence doesn't try to impress, it reveals. And that leads into something even deeper. When a woman feels comfortable around you, truly comfortable, it's not because you entertained her or impressed her. It's because your presence gave her permission to relax, to stop editing herself, to stop calculating how she's coming across. Comfort in this sense is not boring, it's intimate. It's the foundation of everything meaningful that can grow between two people. Think about it. In a world where everyone is trying to be more interesting, more attractive, more impressive, the person who allows you to simply be becomes unforgettable. That's what emotional safety does. It creates space. And in that space, real connection begins. Now, there's another layer to this that I find fascinating. When a woman tells you you're more powerful than you realize, she's not just boosting your confidence. She's responding to something she senses in you, something you may not have fully stepped into yet. Women are often highly intuitive when it comes to potential. They pick up on inconsistencies between who you are and who you could be. And when they voice that, it's not random, it's recognition. But here's where many men disconnect. Instead of receiving that insight, they deflect it, they minimize it, and in doing so, they unintentionally shrink themselves. Because power isn't just something you demonstrate, it's something you allow yourself to embody. And when you begin to align with that, not in an arrogant way, but in a grounded, self-aware way, your entire presence shifts. You become more deliberate, more centered, less reactive, and that calm certainty, it's incredibly attractive, not because it dominates, but because it stabilizes. It creates a sense of emotional grounding that people naturally gravitate toward. And then there's silence. Silence is one of the most misunderstood aspects of connection. Most people are uncomfortable with it because it removes the distractions. It exposes what's actually there. But when you can sit in silence with someone and it feels natural, even comforting, that's a different level of connection entirely. When a woman feels that kind of silence with you, She's not thinking about what to say next. She's feeling, she's present. And presence is where real intimacy lives. Not in constant talking, not in filling every gap, but in allowing moments to exist without pressure. There's something deeply calming about a person who doesn't rush to fill space. It communicates confidence without words. It says, "I'm okay right here." And that feeling, it transfers. Now let's talk about authenticity, because this is where everything ties together. When someone says, "You don't try to be different, you just are," what they're really responding to is congruence. The alignment between who you are internally and how you show up externally. And that alignment is rare. Most people are adjusting themselves constantly, based on who they're with, what they think is expected, what they believe will be accepted. But when someone is simply themselves, without overthinking it, without overperforming, it creates a kind of clarity that stands out without trying to. And women feel that immediately, not because it's loud, but because it's consistent. There's no confusion, no mixed signals, just presence. And presence, when it's real, is magnetic. Now here's something I want you to really sit with. When someone tells you, "You'd be dangerous if you realized how beautiful your mind is," they're pointing to something powerful, your awareness. Your ability to perceive, to connect ideas, to understand patterns and emotions in a way that goes beyond surface-level thinking. But many people suppress that part of themselves. They downplay their depth to fit in, to avoid standing out too much, to stay within what feels safe. And over time, they disconnect from their own insight. So when someone reflects that back to you, it can feel confronting, because it challenges you to see yourself differently, to stop minimizing what you bring to the table, to actually own it. And here's the truth. Your mind, your awareness, your way of seeing the world, that's part of what makes you compelling. Not in a performative way, but in a real, grounded way. And when you allow that to come through naturally, without forcing it, people feel it. They may not always be able to explain it, but they'll remember how it felt to be around you, and that's what lasts. So as you move forward, I want you to shift your focus. Stop thinking about what we need to do to impress someone, and start paying attention to how you show up, how present you are, how deeply you listen, how genuinely you observe. Because the most impactful compliments, the ones that stay with someone, don't come from trying to say the right thing. They come from seeing something real and having the courage to reflect it honestly. And if something in this resonated with you, if you felt a shift in how you understand connection, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share what stood out to you. And if you want to explore this deeper, this space of awareness, presence, and emotional intelligence, make sure you stay connected here. Because this isn't about changing who you are, it's about understanding it more clearly. And when you do that, everything else begins to align.